So hi, church family. I just wanted to connect a little bit and have a little bit of fun. You get to see our dog here. We're kind of hanging outside a little bit. I know this is a stressful time. There is a lot going on in our lives, and it anxiety is just kind of one of those things that comes up. Now that I got her interested, no, I can't get her away. So yeah, Philippians tells us, with thanksgiving, bring our prayers and petitions before God, and He'll be there. And it says to just cast our anxiety on Him. I know as we go through this time and it feels longer and it gets bigger, each day just kind of builds on the day before. How do you deal with anxiety? How do you deal with those extra stresses? I know people have been laid off. People have lost jobs, which means income, which means just a lot of things. There's ramifications of all of that, and we can't downplay the stress or the struggles that go on. It is part of being human, and yet God meets us in our humanity. He is trustworthy, that we talked about on Sunday, and Romans 5:13 talks about coming to Him and trusting Him. And that doesn't mean everything goes away or everything gets better all of a sudden. It means that God is with us, and God is present, and we are here. And so as we go through these times and these stresses come up, and our world, it has changed and is changing, all of that just makes that uncertainty even more of a struggle. Even more are those times that we need to rely on God and turn to each other. So how do I deal with the anxiety? Well, I've got a dog. She helps. Deb and I go for walks every day to get outside, to connect with people. I'm actually going on vacation for a week here, and actually it's a good vacation and a disappointing vacation. We were going to go actually to watch the championships of the NCAA basketball, and obviously that's not happening, but it still is a good time for us to get away. We'll go on some hikes and things like that. We're going to be gone for about a week. So I think mental downtimes, and how do we do that? And it's not just watching TV or watching the next movie, or how do we just kind of numb ourselves? Sometimes we need to step into it and just say, I'm anxious. I'm struggling with things. I feel the stress a little bit more right now. And to just name that is not a bad thing. And as we name it, then we can open it up to God, because as we name things, we give them to Him. And stepping into those, instead of trying to ignore them or think there's something wrong with us spiritually as we go through these times, it really doesn't help to push them down. It helps more to talk about them. So that's why we keep saying it's important to be in Zoom or in other ways of connecting with people. Call people, talk to people. It doesn't have to be everybody. It can just be 2 or 3 people along the way. We want to keep connecting as a church through these videos, and other of the staff are going to be jumping in these next days, and doing it in a variety of ways. Just take some time and then share what's happening for you. Share about the feelings, share about the life changes, because we're all going through different life changes, and we deal with those life changes in different way. But the truth is, God's in there. God's in the life changes. God is ever present. And you look at the Old Testament and the struggles that Israel went through in exile, and they went through huge life changes, and then they would be brought back to God through the struggles and through the crisis, through the down things. We see a lot of that. We see a lot of people turning to back to God, or saying, where does this fit into our spiritual realm? And not, again, not that just by naming it, it goes away. Not just by saying, I trust God. We can trust God. I think trust and hope are important, but I think you can both be trusting and still have anxiety at the same time. You can have stress and hope. I don't think they're opposed to each other. That's part of the strangeness of our humanity, is holding on to two things again that seem opposed, but they're not. The thing to do is to pray too. It says with thanksgiving, prayer and petitions with thanksgiving. And prayer is talking to God, and that idea of petition is actually a stronger going to God, a more emotional going to God, a more intense going to God. When we petition, we're looking for something because we're so tied to it. And that's where we are in our world. We're so tied to it, we can't get away from it right now. And maybe one of the best things that you can do is not watch all the news, not read everything that comes into your computer. To say, I'm just going to look at it one time in a day or two, so it doesn't become overwhelming. There's fast changes, and there are things that are going quickly, but it doesn't mean we have to keep up to the very last minute things. And sometimes we just get so caught up in reading the news, and the next thing that we get down, and it feels overwhelming. God can overwhelm us with his love. So my encouragement is to keep turning to him. Keep going to him. Talk with each other. Be open about how you feel. Get out, exercise, stay in contact with who God is on a daily basis, and let him touch your hearts. It is something that we're going through as a church. It's something that you're going through as individuals. We're going to become better. We are doing more things as we're trusting him, and he is working and changing people's hearts and lives. So we're going to keep trusting. We're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep staying as connected as possible. I wanted to share with you maybe a little smile as you got to see the dog, and that outside's a good place to be. So enjoy the freedom that we do have, and trust in God for the things that we're struggling with. He can lift our burdens. Doesn't mean they're going to go away, as I said, but he will lift them as we seek and continue to trust and share and build those relationships with each other and with him that do make a difference. I hope the rest of your day goes well.